Oh, wonderful. Nice to meet you. And your name?
John Corpella.
Hi, John. And what is this great place we're in here?
Well, this is Montgomery County's first business incubator.
It's the first one.
Yeah. 1999, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what is an incubator? People don't know.
Well, it's a place where we incubate businesses.
Right.
We help them grow. Companies come to us, or entrepreneurs come to us with an idea, or they've licensed some technology. Being in the area we are with DC and the University of Maryland, Hopkins, and NIH, and NIST, and all, just go on and on and on. So we have a lot of scientists, and we have a lot of very talented people in the area, and they come to us with the idea of us starting a business. We help them develop their business plan. We coach them. We're mentors. We have space, but we're not about space. We lease them labs or offices, and they're close to market rate. They're not. The market's come down some, so we're close. It used to be below market rate, but now we're kind of flush with market rate. But we. And we provide training programs. You know, if we have the admittance processes, they come to us with a business plan. We review the business plan. Myself and the rest of the team review the business plan. We look, at the viability of it. Does it make sense? Can they commercialize this, or is there science true? And we have an advisory board of scientists and IT people who understand it. I'm not a scientist, but
you don't play one on TV.
No, I don't do that either. But we look at that, and our being a county government entity and county funded, state funding. Our thing is job creation.
So you're here. The county funds you to help businesses. And this is more the technology-oriented businesses in this one?
Well, this facility has 24 wet labs and 75 offices. Now, biotech gets a lot of press and stuff because, cancer research and vaccine development, stuff like that. But I believe we have 22 bio companies in the facility out of 45, so the rest are IT companies. And then we have the second facility we built is Silver Spring, 8700 Georgia Avenue, across from Mayorgas.
Right. Oh, yeah, no. So
kind of the landmark, yeah. And that is all IT. There's 55 offices in there. We have 26 IT companies there, and some of them are developing technology, software, hardware, just growing their businesses there. And then the third facility was our Wheaton facility. It's in the Westfield Shopping Mall and Veers Mill and Georgia Avenue. And that facility, we have service companies, IT companies. So we cater. They could be accounting firms, marketing. We have a couple of award-winning marketing companies in there, and we help them grow. The government contractors, we mentor them and help them grow. Then the fourth facility was the Rockville Town Center, the new Rockville Town Center.
That's a beautiful place.
We have 2 floors on the Viz Arts building there, about 32,000 square feet. We opened that almost 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago. And currently have, I believe, 26 companies in there. And there we have 5 or 6 of our international companies. But there's
are they IT or service?
They're IT. We even have some green tech. I mean,
really?
everybody's in the green.
I got a new green service myself.
Yeah. So we're helping some green companies grow and develop.
And the total amount of companies that are involved?
We have 150 companies in the program.
So a company, or an entrepreneur would come to a place like you, and you're county funded, right? Is that
well, we charge rent, so we generate some revenue. So it's not a total. The county annual subsidy is about 1/4 of our operating budget.
I see. Now, so then, does that mean the services that the people get? I mean, they pay for rent here.
Sure.
But now the services. I mean, do you charge for the services?
No, it's all inclusive. If they rent an office for $300 or $400 a month. That's what they're paying, but they get the use of the conference rooms, the receptionists. We have copiers, faxes, that type of equipment.
That's terrific.
And there's no charge for that. And then we do about 100 programs a year, training programs, and it's anywhere from accounting 101 to doing an IPO. We take companies. We have an entrepreneur come in and they've, credit card, finance, home equity, not so much of that anymore.
Right.
But,
I understand. Hey, how to finance your business. Yeah.
you know, they come in very minimal financing. They've raised some money from Uncle Charlie or something, and they want to start a business. And then we have serial entrepreneurs. We have a couple of our graduates.
Breakfast cereal or what?
No, cereal. This is. Thank you. You know, they're in their second, third business, and
really, and so even if they've done it before, they come back.
They come back, and you know, they've sold.
The value, huh?
You know, they've gentleman in the office next door is one of our first graduates back in, I think, 2002. Sold his business, and about 2 years ago he came back and said, I want to start another business. And these guys are great, and ladies too.
Yeah.
I mean, they're great because they have gone through the program, they've been there, they've started a business, and they also have some money, you know, they've sold their business, so they have some money to invest in a new one. And we're very fortunate, like in this facility, we have 5 or 6 what we call serial entrepreneurs, and they're very gracious with their time.
I mean, they help the other folks.
Help the other folks. And the neat thing about an incubator is that you can, you know, walk down the hall or you know, attend one of our luncheon programs or training sessions, and you're sitting with other people, you know, and, like-minded people, and you have a problem. You know, you say, hey, you know, Ed says, how's it going today? He says, oh, it's great, but I got this tax issue, or I've got this HR problem. Oh, well, this is what I did, or go down and see John or Ruth, you know, myself or staff. And so we're always there as resources for them.
Now, incubators, I mean, I've heard about them a long time, and I guess they're different kinds all around the country.
Yeah, we're unique in that we're county owned, and we're probably, if not the largest, in the top 5 in the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
Top 5 incubators in the country.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, programs.
Right.
And we don't call them incubators anymore. We call them innovation centers.
Oh, innovation centers. Everybody's going to be politically correct.
Yeah. Well, you know, the little warm, cuddly.
Yeah, exactly,
I actually got an email from a guy in Sweden wanting to order some incubators. What size and model numbers should he order?
It got lost in translation there.
So, but they're innovation centers.
And how long is a typical company here?
Companies are here from a year to 5 years. It depends on the company and the growth, their revenue. We don't do a lease, we do a license agreement, and the license agreement is very flexible. We have a 60-day cancellation if they come in and, you know, and they just don't have the stomach. I mean, you know, this is still hard to start a business, you know, and if they don't have the stomach for it, the science doesn't prove out, you know, they can get out of it easily without any cost.
But they're paying only for the rent, is that it?
Yeah. And
they give it out in 60 days. That's better than any other lease you'll get.
Well, commercial, you couldn't do that. And the other thing, too, is, you know, they can be here a year and a half and, you know, hit the jackpot and have that big success, and they have to move into 5 or 10 or 30,000 square feet.
I see. Wow.
And
it's a nice problem.
Then we help them find space in the county, and you know, bake a cake and have a party and celebrate their success and move out there.
Everybody who comes, I mean, do you have data like how helpful it is to be in an incubator versus people outside of incubators starting problems?
If you look at the SBA's statistics, about 80% of companies fail in the first 2 or 3 years. Ours is exactly the opposite.
Really?
We have an 85% success rate.
85%. So people that are in incubator programs have an 85% success rate. Non-incubator programs, the SBA says it's a 20% success rate.
Yeah, and they're throwing retail and everything else.
Exactly.
You know,
bars.
You know, we screen, we work with our companies. You know, we're in constant communication with them. You know, if myself or staff, we don't have the answer, we have a tremendous amount of resources that we bring. We have partners that we bring to the program.
Is there an accountability every so often, or that doesn't matter?
Well, formally they go before the review committee every 6 months, and they present updates on their business plans and stuff like that and how their technology is going. But informally, we have staff in each facility who works with them, so we know what's going on. We meet weekly, the 5 of us on the team, and we discuss
the 5 centers, or
yeah,
what?
yeah, and we discuss our companies, and because the whole team is what I call street smarts. We've all been in business, been in the private sector.
You're not professors.
We're not professors or professional bureaucrats.
Right.
So we've been there and done that. So we don't talk about all 150 companies, but we have 10 or 12, and there may be a company in the Wheaton facility that maybe needs my area of expertise, or Ruth, the young lady you met earlier, comes from a banking background and stuff like that, so they may need her help. So she'll work with a company in Wheaton or one of the other facilities. So we kind of bring whatever resources we have. And then what we have here, also, we have the University of Maryland Intellectual Property Legal Resource Center.
God, I saw that. I picked up a publication. That's wonderful. What did they explain that?
Well, that's law professors from the university and their students, and they work with their companies on intellectual property issues and copyright, patent law, business structure, non-disclosures. That's included in
so you get free legal help for all this
stuff. They get free legal help. They don't file the patents or they don't file the copyrights or whatever, but they'll do the research, and that's probably worth about $10,000 if you utilize it. And then we have attorneys that understand that these are startup companies. They'll work with them sometimes pro bono or minimum fees, and they're sort of investing their time in the company, and hopefully when the company grows, they'll use that law firm or that accounting firm.
Oh, right, exactly. I see. Oh, so you get, I guess, like volunteers that help people from the community that are professionals come and help the incubators.
Come and work with our companies.
Companies here for free, and that may, when they grow, they get. So, I mean, somebody sitting outside of an incubator would never have access to that.
No,
they can't get that.
This is constant training.
And the county does this, why?
Great jobs.
Great jobs.
This was sort of the first incubator was created, after the .com failure, bubble busted, and you had all these talented people and ideas, and as they were sort of reorganizing and rethinking their business mythology or whatever. There was a need for something like this, and we're not unique. I mean, there's incubators all over the world. There's a National Business Incubator Association. We have a local Maryland Incubator Association. So there's 22 incubators around the state. Now we have 5 of them. But there's a couple in the Eastern Shore, Baltimore area. Even Western Maryland, Garrett County, the farthest western county, has an incubator.
But they're nationals. Somebody could look up the Incubator Association and find an incubator.
Yeah, you could go NBIA, National Business, and you could look up incubators in their states and stuff like that.
And are you put on the the carpet for how many jobs you're creating all the time? Is that
that's that's the thing. Since we're publicly funded, we have to constantly. We've graduated about 90 companies, a little over 90.
Wow, in 5 years, you mean?
And no, in the last 10 years. And 83 of them are still in business in Montgomery County. Occasionally, we'll lose a company to a merger or acquisition by outside. And then we have it's a tech center being where we are, but we have a lot of competition from Boston, Massachusetts area. Obviously, Silicon Valley, Raleigh, Durham, Carolinas are moving up. Virginia, across the river, so we're all.
So it sounds like you work with the university in law. Do you work with the university and the technical expertise of the universities?
Well, we have programs where we help our companies license technology from the University of Maryland. We have a lot of professors that come to us, from the university. They've licensed the technology. Out of federal labs, NIH and stuff like this.
So in other words, a bureaucrat working at a lab here saying, hey, I can make a buck out of this.
Yeah, well, and a lot of times they've worked on a project in a lab for 10 years. They've been funded and stuff like that. Now, in the old days, they could leave and start a business on that and get invested. Today, they have to they've used taxpayers' money to develop
I
that
see.
technology. So the program is they have to license that technology.
Is
So
there
they're-
an initial fee, or is it just a partnership?
It could be partnerships,
Yeah.
or it could be a flat fee.
Yeah.
Johns Hopkins does it, University of Maryland does it, and the federal
Really,
labs
huh?
does it. So they can, they pay a fee, and
Right.
so they don't own the technology
Right,
because
and
taxpayers
license, yeah.
have paid for it. So
Well, that's nice. Yeah, the taxpayer still owns it. Yeah.
so
That's
the
good.
university or the federal lab gets money back on it. And if they're a great success, then everybody wins.
Well, it seems like, why wouldn't every business want to do something like this, or is it not set up for every kind of business?
Well, we've gotten pretty diverse.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing the small businesses. One of the things, Montgomery County, as we alluded to, is a very diverse culture.
Right.
So we're about, last count was about 59% women and minorities in our program. That said,
You have like almost 60% women and minorities in your incubators.
in our programs, yeah.
Wow.
But that said, they're here because of the quality of their business. We don't intentionally have
Yeah, but
quotas or numbers
right,
to meet.
yeah.
No, they're here because
Yeah.
of the quality of their business.
Well, I hear like 2 out of every 3 businesses that are started today are started by women. In a general sense, all
That's
kinds
true.
of business.
Yeah, we have some, very noted women
Yeah.
scientists here. It's sometimes I'm just in awe of some of these people.
But it makes sense to me. Like my generation, my parents' generation, immigrants more or less came over, and when you couldn't get in the system, you started your own.
Right, right.
So I guess the women, though, they say, "Hey, you don't let me play, man. I'm going to start my own." Yeah.
They do.
And I guess the immigrants now that are in this country
Yeah,
doing
we have
it too.
we have a lot, as I alluded to, we have a lot of international companies in our program.
Yeah, what does that mean? International.
International, they're
coming here?
divisions of of a large foreign
Right.
company, and it could be the Netherlands, New Zealand, China, Korea.
Wow.
And they come here a good part for the market and the technology and the access to capital, the access to talented workforce. We have one of the highest educated
Right.
communities in the country.
So you say like a big company in China wants to start a business in the United States, they come and find an incubator to start it out of in the United States.
They do, and a lot of people say, "Well, what are you doing that for?" Well, it's no different than somebody
Exactly.
2 blocks away starting.
They're going to create jobs here.
They're creating jobs
Right.
here, and our jobs are good paid jobs.
Yeah.
So there's no difference
Right.
whether they're international or come from across the river in
Right.
Virginia or
Right.
Germantown.
You're greedy like everybody else. You just
well,
want a job.
They want to start a business, and
Exactly.
we have some very interesting things going on here. I get very excited talking to our people, listening to presentations and stuff. What they're doing in stem cell research, cancer research, diagnostics they're developing, vaccines they're developing. Every company's not going to be world famous, but we've graduated Eris Global, which has to date received over $200 million from the Gates Foundation on their tuberculosis vaccine. They have to be a nonprofit to get Gates funding, but it's third world countries for tuberculosis vaccines, and they're doing very well.
And they started out of here, you mean?
They started in here. A few years back, we hosted Canon Life Science. Canon's, everybody looks at cameras and copiers. Well, they decided to get into the life science business. And
so Canon copiers want to get into life science business.
so they created a life science division.
And they started here.
They came to Montgomery County because this is a place to be if you're into life science. And we're looking for commercial space and everything. And at that time, leases were very long term, 10-year leases, and they only needed like 1,000 square feet, a small lab to get started, and proof of concept, basically. Right. So they came to us, and we leased them a lab, and they were here about almost 2 years. Right. And right now you can see the building they're in. They're about 100 yards from here, and they've grown to, I think they currently occupy about 60,000 square feet.
And your commitment is only like 60 days?
Well, that's cancellation.
Yeah,
or
canceling.
whatever.
So,
But our graduation is based on what the revenue is. Can
Yeah.
they afford to move out? How much space are they taking? We had a company, informatics company, bioinformatics company, and a couple gentlemen from Soviet Union, and they grew to 45 people. They were, producing, I think they were at $2 million in revenue. And so, well, you guys are big enough to move out.
They had 45 people here?
Yeah, and they had 5 offices.
They wanted to stay?
They had 5 offices, and they were like, shoulder to shoulder in their offices, and that's sort of what they were used to in Europe.
Right. Oh, I was just in India, and that's how they worked. I mean, it was just like a schoolroom.
So but they moved, and kind of the neat thing is we have, I believe in space about a half mile here, we have 5 companies in the same building because they like the idea, the synergies and the thing they developed here. One of the scientists, I think he was interviewed at graduation, he said, well, it's nice because I can still walk down the hall and borrow a pipette. And they share. We do information sharing sessions where we introduce our companies to the other companies in the facilities, and you see a lot of partnerships and things formed there. Go back to the CEOs. We do a CEO roundtable where we have 3 or 4 of our seasoned CEOs sit down with our new CEOs in a conference, and sometimes I moderate or one of the other staff does, and just say, what's on your mind? What can we learn? What can we learn from each other?
The whole thing, I mean, it seems like it's a place. Well, you don't have to make a big commitment for a lease. I mean, it seems like the #1 advantage. So besides paying your rent for your new business, is that you get all this technical expertise available, free professional services, whatever. And I guess any kind of problem that comes up, you have a resource of people to contact, whether it's a financial problem, a management problem, a technical problem, a legal problem, or whatever, taxes, as you mentioned,
whatever,
anything, that it's in the community here, available, I guess, at no charge, right?
And we have a network of venture capitalists that are,
I see.
We
so they know you. So they're always looking here,
and they
too.
come to us. Do you have anything exciting going on?
I see. Wow.
Stuff like that. And lately we've seen some of the bigger companies like HGS and MedImmune and Qiagen. Some of the local big pharmas are working with our companies.
I see.
And kind of coming
they're
in
looking
saying,
for opportunities.
Looking for opportunities. And the company gets bigger. It's sort of easier for them to acquire the technology than spend the money developing it. And that's what we're seeing.
So big companies, it's easier for them to buy a smaller company than to start something themselves.
Or invest in it and just watch it and see how it goes. And it helps the company, obviously, and gives them an out and gives them that support. And we encourage that. We help our companies do presentations of events. Sometimes we rehearse them to make sure they're comfortable, sitting in front of a camera or 10 or 15 venture capitalists, and they get nervous. They know about it. So
you're on the spot. It's your whole life, maybe.
We do dry runs with them. We critique it, a little heavy on the science, or show a little bit more how they're gonna recoup their investment.
That's what they really want to know.
That's what they want to know. They want to know how they're going to make money on you. And that's venture capital groups. And you have angel investors, and angel investors are generally, they sort of partner with the company. They don't take over 51% of the company or whatever. And a lot of times they may be interested in a company doing Alzheimer's research because family member or something like that, or they just have a interest in it, and they'll invest in a company and help it grow.
How is the downturn in the economy? How has it affected your businesses or incubators in general? Or
I would say in the last 6 months we've probably only lost 2 companies really, too, and they were depending a lot on government contracts, or they were the trickle down effect. Their vendors got hit, and so they
were
lost
subcontracting.
But and a lot of our companies, to their credit, were very proactive. We're going to scale down. We've looked at our revenue stream. What our resources are, how much capital we're burning per month, and if we scale back, we can we have enough resources
Right,
to
to
last
do
a
it.
year or something
Right,
like that.
right.
So they may have had 4 or 5 offices, and they'll scale back to
Mm-hmm.
1. Some people will work from home. So they're being proactive and
Right.
participating.
That's the way to do it, man. It's that overhead that kills you.
And we help them
Yeah.
with that. And that's the neat thing about the incubator program. I mean, you can move in and take one office. As you grow, we'll make space
Yeah.
available for you if we have it, but we'll make space. We like to be about 95% occupied, so we have space
A little
for
bit,
our
yeah.
company. Our first priority is our existing companies
People here,
to
yeah.
help them grow. That said, occasionally a real exciting company comes along, and boy, we want to get them in there. There's great technology, and the scientists are We look at the management team too. Are they coachable?
I see.
Will they learn? Do they need our skills? It's just we try to avoid lifestyle businesses. And that's a scientist or somebody who will come in and just live off grants and SBRs and things like that, and not really create jobs. And they're enamored in their science, and they really don't. They're not looking at the commercial aspect of it. Or our job is to get them to that commercial thing.
So lifestyle would be more for the individual versus creating something.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't want somebody to sit back in a lab and just
Yeah.
live off grants. Yeah, they pay the rent, but they're not really
Creating
growing their
jobs,
business and they're growing. So this economic downturn, actually it creates more entrepreneurs. We have people coming to us who have taken early retirement
Right.
from large companies, and they have a skill set and they want to turn it into a business, and they have some money. They're not kids. But again, we have kids. I see some of them around here, and I think they're the daughter or sons of somebody, and they're actually one of our. We have some very exciting young entrepreneurs doing things.
Young people are great to me.
Yeah,
they're
they're
exciting about what the future's going to be.
Yeah, and technology, and they're sitting there. Yeah, the old days, 2005 or 2000. Yeah, in 2000, in the old days, and I'm like, 2000's the old
I got
days.
socks older than you.
Yeah, that's what I tell them. My ties are older than you. So, yeah, it's a very exciting place.
It's a great facility. It's awfully nice to know that something like this is right. And it's not only Montgomery County. This is all over, isn't it?
It's a national program.
Well, thank you so much for being here and taking care of all this.
We appreciate
Thank
that.
you.